Very good morning, children. I'm Deepa, your physical science teacher from Dr. Bisen School. Welcome back to our physical science session again. In our previous session, we learned about mixture, isn't it? Pure and mixture. And mixture, two types of mixtures, homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. These are the two types of mixtures we learned. And again in heterogeneous mixture, two types we learned. What are they? They are suspension and colloid. So suspension, which the solute particle size is big enough which can be seen with our naked eyes, whereas in colloid solute particle size is very less, very small, which is not visible to our eyes. So colloid seems to be homogeneous, but it is heterogeneous mixture, isn't it? That is all we learned. And different types of colloids, if liquid and solid or solid and gas, liquid and gas combinations, we learned different colloids and their names with examples in previous session, isn't it? And today's session we are going to learn properties of suspension and colloids. Okay, children, I hope you all are ready with your books. Yes, see in your textbook, page number 45, properties of suspension and colloids. So, suspensions, colloids. Suspension is what type of mixture? Suspension is heterogeneous mixture, whereas colloid is also heterogeneous, isn't it? Let us write the key words. I will write here. Suspensions and colloids. Now, first, suspension is what type of mixture? Heterogeneous. It is a heterogeneous mixture. Whereas colloids, it is also heterogeneous mixtures only. Colloids also heterogeneous. Colloids also heterogeneous mixtures only. Now, next one, the particles of suspensions can be seen with naked eyes. Yes or no? Suspension particles can be seen with naked eyes. Can be seen with naked eyes, whereas colloid particle size is too small to be seen by naked eyes. They are too small to be seen by naked eyes. Okay, next point. Particles of suspensions scatter a beam of light passing through it and make its path visible. They will scatter a beam of light. Scatter a beam of light. Whereas colloid, particles of colloids are big enough to scatter of light passing through it, which makes its path visible. So this also will scatter. Colloids also will scatter a beam of light. Colloids also will scatter a beam of light. Next, solute particles settle down when a suspension is kept undisturbed. When the particles settle down, it does not scatter light anymore. Suspensions will scatter beam of light until all the solute particles settle at the bottom. Once they are settled at the bottom, no more it will scatter the beam of light. So, solute particles settle down. Particles settle down when they left undisturbed. When kept undisturbed. When solute particles kept undisturbed, then they will settle down. Whereas colloids, the particles don't settle down when the colloid left undisturbed. Means colloid is quite stable. Particles don't settle down. Don't settle down even when it is left undisturbed, and colloid is quite stable. Colloid is quite stable. Okay, children. Next, suspension is unstable. The components can be separated from the mixture by the process of filtration. Components can be separated easily. Components can be separated easily, whereas the components cannot be separated from the mixture by the process of filtration or descentation. Centrifugation technique is used in separation. So here components cannot be separated. Cannot be separated easily. Centrifugation technique is used. Centrifugation is used to separate the components. These are the properties of suspension and colloid. Am I clear, children? Already we have discussed about this. Just the main points, keywords I wrote. Using the keywords, you can elaborate the sentence. Suspensions are heterogeneous mixtures. Colloids are also heterogeneous mixtures. Suspensions can be seen. The particles of in the suspension can be seen with our naked eyes. The particles in the colloid are too small to be seen. And suspensions will scatter a beam of light and the path is visible. Colloids can also scatter a beam of light and the path is visible. In the suspensions, the particles settle down when kept undisturbed. In colloid, particles don't settle down. Colloid is quite stable. In suspension, the components can be separated easily by the process of filtration. Whereas in colloids, components cannot be separated easily. Centrifugation technique is required for the separation of particles in colloid. Okay, these are the properties of suspension and colloids. Please note down, children. Completed? Next, shall we go to next topic? Our next topic is separating the components of a mixture. Separating the components of a mixture. See in your book. Till now we have discussed the types of mixtures. Do you know techniques to separate these mixtures into their respective constituents? Usually heterogeneous mixtures can be separated into their respective constituents by simple physical methods. Already we learned that or not? Like hand picking. You know hand picking, isn't it? If there is difference in the size of the particles or color of the particles, easily you can separate by hand picking, like the stones in the rice. And sieving. What is sieving? Jallinchatu, difference in the size of the particles, filtration, etc., as we use in our day-to-day life. Sometimes special techniques have to be used for the separation of the components of mixture. Like already you learned in your 6th class the process like flotation, filtration, crystallization, chromatography, etc. All this we have learned. So now we are going to learn some of the process. The first one is sublimation. One of the separating technique is sublimation. Now can you tell me what is meant by sublimation? Already we have learned solid converting directly into gas without changing into liquid, or gas directly converting into solid without changing into liquid. This process is called sublimation, isn't it? What is that sublimation? Directly solid to gas or gas to solid without converting into liquid. This process is called sublimation. So this technique can be used for separating some of the components in a mixture. Like see in your book here page number 46 we give what is all taken there. Let us see the parts. A china dish, a funnel, okay, a funnel and china dish and mixture in the china dish. Taken a mixture in the china dish, and here what is formed? Vapors are formed. Here cotton plugged to close the. A cotton plug is taken for not to allow the vapors to go outside. Okay, we fixed the cotton plug and next have placed the china dish on a stand. It is placed on a stand, and here what we have taken? Bunsen burner. Bunsen burner is used for heating purpose. Flame. Using Bunsen burner, we should heat this one. Okay, children. Now let us see the parts. With these parts only, you will understand the process sublimation. Okay. Now let us write the parts. What is this? Cotton plug. Next, inverted funnel. Inverted funnel. Next, solidified. Solidified ammonium chloride. Its formula is NH4Cl, ammonium chloride. Next, what is this? It is China dish. Next, vapors of ammonium chloride. Vapors of ammonium chloride. Next, mixture of ammonium chloride and salt. Mixture of ammonium chloride and salt. Mixture of ammonium chloride and salt. These are the parts, children. Fifth. So with these parts and diagram, we will understand the process. What we have taken, we took a China dish. In China dish, we have taken some mixture of ammonium chloride and common salt, NaCl. NH4Cl is ammonium chloride and NaCl is the common salt. So that mixture of ammonium chloride and common salt we have taken in a China dish and place the China dish on a stand. Okay, and close the China dish with a funnel, inverted funnel. Place the funnel, you all know funnel. Invert that funnel on the China dish consisting of this mixture. And funnel top will be open, opening will be there, isn't it? That opening of the tip of the funnel close with a cotton plug so that the vapors will not escape, will not allow the vapors to go outside, escape. Okay, children? Now this is the arrangement, and place the Bunsen burner under the stand and start heating this mixture. Okay, first you will heat the China dish. The heat will pass from China dish to the mixture of ammonium chloride and salt. Clear, children? Now what will happen after heating? This ammonium chloride will convert into vapors because of process of sublimation. What I told, sublimation means so solid to gas, directly converting from solid to gas or gas to solid. Here ammonium chloride is a solid substance, isn't it? So when both are mixed, first ammonium chloride will convert into vapors. Salt requires more temperature to change its state, but ammonium chloride in less temperature only changes its state. Okay, it directly, ammonium chloride directly converts into vapors. That vapors are filled here in the China dish. Understood? In the China dish, in the funnel. But there is no place for the vapors to escape. So the vapors will remain here only in the funnel. So once the ammonium chloride converted into vapors, stop that heating. Stop the Bunsen burner. Stop heating. Now after stop heating means the vapor starts cool. Isn't it? We are not supplying any more temperature. So the vapors will start cooling. So when the vapor starts cooling, what will happen to this ammonium chloride? First it converted from solid to gas directly. And when they started cooling, that ammonium chloride gases, vapors will convert directly into solid, which that solid ammonium chloride are fixed to the walls of the funnel. Solid ammonium chloride are fixed to the walls of the funnel. Understood? They are fixed to the walls of the funnel like the flakes. how your chocolate flakes will be there. Like that they are fixed to the walls of the funnel. So complete ammonium chloride will be fixed to the walls of the funnel, whereas salt will remain in the china dish. So both are separated or not? Yes, this separation technique process is called sublimation. So in combination of two solids, one solid directly converting into gas and again from gas to solid, like that both are separated. This process is called sublimation. Am I clear, children? This is what sublimation. Will you draw the diagram quickly with the parts? You are thorough with diagram and parts. If you are thorough with diagram and parts, automatically you can write the answer easily. Clear? Draw the diagram. So in your textbook, take 1 tablespoon of common salt, 1 tablespoon of ammonium chloride and mix them. Is the mixture heterogeneous? Give reasons. How do you separate the salt and ammonium chloride? Take the mixture in a china dish. Take a glass funnel which is big enough to cover the dish. Plug the mouth of the funnel with cotton and invert it over the dish. Keep the dish on the stand of stove and heat for some time and observe the walls of the funnel. Initially you find vapors of ammonium chloride and then solidified ammonium chloride on the walls of the funnel. Try it for mixtures that have camphor or naphthalene. Why? Because camphor also undergoes sublimation. Naphthalene also undergoes sublimation. They will not convert into liquid. Already we learnt about that. Am I clear, children? This is the process sublimation. Shall we go to next process? Right. And next process is evaporation. Our next process is evaporation. You all know what is meant by evaporation. Tell what is meant by evaporation. Converting liquid to vapor. The process of conversion of liquid to vapor is called evaporation. So process of evaporation of water. Now in this process, again let us see the diagram. We will take a beaker first. Let us take a beaker. Okay. And in this beaker, water. These are bubbles of water. And close the beaker mouth with a watch glass. And in that watch glass you have taken ink. Ink is taken and this beaker is placed on a stand, same like before. It is placed on a stand. Okay, and place a Bunsen burner under the stand to heat. for supplying the heat. Okay, children. So now let us write the parts. These are vapors, watch glass, and what is taken inside the watch glass? Ink. Okay, next beaker and water. Clear with this? We have taken a beaker consisting of water and placed the beaker on a stand. Under the stand we placed a Bunsen burner. Now we started heating. Then the water will get boiled and the vapors will rises and reaches to china dish. And in the china dish what is there? Ink you have taken. What is ink? Ink is a mixture of water and dye. What is dye? Ink is a mixture of water and dye. What is dye? Dye is a color. Which color ink you are using? That color. Now we want to separate this dye from the liquid. Okay, here we are doing this evaporation process for separating the dye from the water. So when this vapors reaches the china dish and ink starts heating. When its temperature rises, automatically the liquid present in that ink will get evaporated and the solid substance, the dye, will remain in the watch glass. Like this we are separating the components. Am I clear, children? See in your book. Take a beaker and fill it to half its volume with water. Keep a watch glass on the mouth of the beaker. Put a few drops of ink on the watch glass. Heat the beaker and observe the watch glass. Continue heating till you do not observe any further change on the watch glass. How much time you should heat? Until no more change is observed in the watch glass. What is evaporated from the watch glass? The liquid present in that ink will get evaporated. Is there any residue on the watch glass? Residue means any solid substance remain. Yes. We know that ink is a mixture of dye in water. We can separate the components in the ink using this evaporation process. Directly we should not heat that ink. Okay, we will heat the water. Water boils and that vapors reaches. We should increase the temperature of ink. We should not heat it. In activity 7, we saw that ink is a mixture of solute and solvent. Is the dye in ink is a single color? Is the dye a single color? No. How many dyes are there in ink? How can we find out this? Is there any technique to separate the different components in the ink? Yes. To separate the different components, even to separate the colors. We know that some colors are formed by the combination of two or more colors. You all know that or not? Yes, you are good artists, you know that. Isn't it? So even the colors also can be separated by another technique called chromatography. Already you learned in your previous class, isn't it? And about the technique, more detail we will learn in our next session. Okay, children? I hope you all understood. Today we learned about the properties of suspension and colloid, and also we started separating techniques of mixtures. Two techniques we learned. One is sublimation, separating of ammonium chloride from ammonium chloride and salt, and another one is evaporation, separating the dye in the ink from water. These are the two techniques we learned. In the next session we are going to learn chromatography. Okay, children? Thank you.